Welcome everyone to another CTC Software webinar. My name is Chris Bircher, Director of Technical Services here at CTC, and today we are going to cover one of the free apps from the BIM Project Suite, and that is the Renumbering application or program. Before we begin though, I want to encourage everyone to ask questions throughout the presentation using the questions panel for GoToWebinar. I will do my best to monitor those as we're going through, and we'll certainly make sure to answer all of them at the end of the session, so that everybody gets what they need. And as always, these are being recorded and will be made available on our YouTube channel. Hopefully within the next couple of days, it should be up there, and you guys can go ahead and watch it at your leisure. So with that said, let's just get started. So a task that we all thoroughly enjoy doing, I'm being sarcastic here, is renumbering elements or editing effectively the same object repetitively and doing it over and over and over again, like renumbering rooms or renumbering doors, or what about your interior elevations sheet or your details sheet where you have anywhere from 20 to 30 views placed and you have to rearrange them and they're no longer in order. And now we have to manually go through and renumber them and make sure that we don't have duplicates during that process. And as a manual task, that's no fun. So, you know, we can get around it by building schedules to list everything out, you know, make like a door schedule that shows the to room and the number, and you can manually match them up, or the same, and then or a view list and schedule the sheet as well and hope that you get the right order. All right, it's not great though. There isn't a really good way to do this inside of Revit. So thankfully, we've addressed that with renumbering, and the best part about renumbering is it's free. So for today, gonna show you, introduce all of you to renumbering, and it's, you know, the UI, the features, how it works, specify some rules for doing some room-based numbering and some view renumbering, and how to just kind of renumber anything. Show you some basic execution, kind of how the tool works, and then show you where you can get stuff, where you can see the videos, and answer any questions that you may have at that time. So I personally, in case you haven't picked this up yet, don't like doing PowerPoints. So I am just going to show you the tool in action. So, and we're not there yet, so we'll back up a step here. All right, so I've got a couple of different examples I want to show you. We're going to start here, and we're going to switch to the floor plan. And on our CTC productivity tab, we have a collection of green shaded tools, which we call the CTC BIM Project Suite. And depending on how you've got your ribbon organized, your free tools may come in a little drop down here labeled free tools. Renumbering right there, right in the middle. So it's the lighter shaded color, it's free. If you don't have the suite yet, go ahead and do your download. When your trial runs out, you still get these tools, and they will last until you uninstall them. So, and this one probably is my favorite freebie here. So I'm a little excited to show this one today. And so just to kind of take a step back before I actually show you guys everything, I got a floor plan, I've got doors, I've got rooms, and for one, I'm on the second floor. Every single one of these tags is wrong, right? They should at least be starting with a 2. And now, depending on the size of the building, it maybe needs to be a 4-digit number or a 5-digit number, or, you know, maybe it needs to have an abbreviation, or I'm sorry, not abbreviation, a prefix or a suffix, depending on the building type that you're working in. A lot of healthcare facilities have prefix or suffix attached to the room number, or maybe both, right? So right now, if I had to go set that up and do all of that myself, I got to create a room schedule and the easiest way is to make a room schedule and either start building them out this way, or just from the floor plan itself, grab the tag and just start editing. And that's not fun. Now, you could build a Dynamo script that allowed you to do all that. And it would take you probably about a couple of days to build it. Or you can use our free tool here. So when it comes to rooms and when it comes to the renumbering tool, we have a number of different things you can renumber first and foremost. So we got rooms, areas, and spaces, right? Depending on the discipline that you're working with, or the type of plan you're working in. Sometimes code plans or life safety plans we use areas instead. So we built in that flexibility. And then we have doors, which not everybody needs, but grids, we can renumber our grids if the grid system is large enough where it makes sense. Detailed numbers, which are the for views on sheets, and then a general tab to renumber just about anything that you want. So I'll start with rooms, since that's kind of a logical place to begin. So I know that this little spot right here is a common space where the elevator and staircase are, right? So this is the kind of entry point to this specific floor. And then it's sort of broken up into different suites. So I have the option of just labeling the whole thing all at once in one shot if I want, or I can break it up and create room numbering schemes per suite. So, and I'll kind of show you how that works. So in this case, I'm certainly starting with 200 because I'm on the second floor, or 2000, or maybe 2100. Again, it depends on the project type. I can increase in increments of 1 or in any increment number that you can think of. So just building in additional flexibility. And what do I want to do with the room number if it matches an existing room number somewhere else? We have this auto swap option, so that if you stumble across a situation where you're trying to renumber a room and that room number exists somewhere else already, our tool will replace the two, swap the two room numbers with each other so that you don't have conflicts. Okay, and then if you have situations where you've got multiple spaces with the same number, then it's not going to hit all of them. It's only anticipating there to be one potential duplicate. So it's not perfect, but it gets 95% of the situations, which is good enough for me. So I'm going to go ahead and hit renumber. The tool grays out. Flight allows me to drop into the floor plan here, and now I can grab this first space, and that now becomes room 200. And then I can just start picking around. So 201, 202, 3, 4, 5, and so on. And you just start going. 6, and we'll grab the hallway here, and this, and you get the idea. And you just go until you're ready to stop. When you're ready to stop, you hit escape. So if I was going to try to break this into suites, I've got enough rooms here to make that work. So if I want to back up a step, start at 200 again, hit renumber. I'm going to pick this big room to be room 200 for suite 200. Notice the original room 200 already renumbered itself. It's now 205, which is what this big space used to be. And now I can finish off and go 201, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Oh, wait. Nope. I should have clicked those. That's my fault. And 4 and 5. There we go. I'll leave it at that. Now I can hit escape. And this is a stairwell, which is common space, and this will be my other suite. I'm going to make this start at 210 this time, hit renumber, and begin. Now I can grab the big open area for 210 and then just start going. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and then you get the idea. It's all a whole bunch of picks and clicks. And I'm gonna stop right about here. I'll stop here, that's fine. I don't need to go all the way around. You get the idea. And I could have stopped again if there was 3 suites, stop it, call it 220 or 230, depending on the schemes, and continue on. Now, what happens? So that's the rooms. Rooms is simple, right? And if I had a suffix, it would put the suffix in. If I had a prefix like, L2, blah, 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 or whatever you want, really, it doesn't matter. In a lot of healthcare projects, the lower level areas may start with L or LL, depending on the project type or how tall the building is or how many different lower levels there might be. We can certainly insert those in and begin our numbering schemes. And areas function the same way. Spaces also function the exact same way. It's just looking for a specific, spatial element type. That's all it's looking for. So then we come to doors. So in this case, I want my doors to now match the room numbers, and I want them to match the 2-room function, right? So we get those options in here, and I can do a sequence-based numbering, which is where I physically have to pick the door to match the room, or I just pick the door and I number it, and maybe it's completely independent of the rooms. That's entirely possible. If you want that flexibility, it's there. Doors don't necessarily have to match the rooms. But if you want them to match the rooms, we have it built in to do so. And we have the 2 options to use the to-room property or the from-room property, dependent on what you're using. You can specify which phase you want that the rooms are placed in to make sure that it's reading the appropriate set of rooms. Again, we have space for suffix and a separator to put space between the 2, and then our auto swap option. So before I go ahead and do that, I'm just going to go ahead and grab one of these doors and look at the properties here. So the mark parameter here for this door is 110. Clearly, that's wrong. Same over here, we got 116. My guess is that most of these are in the 100s. So before we do that, I'm gonna just sneak in another couple of doors here to show you kind of how this works. Okay, so I've got a couple of spaces now that have multiple entries, right? And then this kind of massive conference room over here has 3 doors. When we have spaces with multiple openings entering it, generally speaking, we call it, in this case, 200A, 200B, or 210A, 210B, 219A, B, and C, right? Right now, that's all 100% manual. And with this, it doesn't have to be. So with auto swap set and I hit renumber, it automatically is going to inherit an alphabetical suffix method for renumbering doors that where multiple doors are entering the same space. That's going to be automatic. Okay, so if I start here, I'm going to take a step back and tag all these real quick because I forgot to do that. So real quick, jump in, do my tag all on the doors, no leaders, go. All right, so now all my doors have tags. Got a couple of extras here where I've got a custom door family that I used, which happens, but you can see it made it 200. Okay, so now if I come back up here where I have the same door, same space, I got a couple of examples I'm going to show you here quick. Whoops, went too far. Cancel that. All right. Now when I go ahead and hit renumber again and I grab the same space, and because I screwed it up, I got to start it over. Now I get 200A and 200B. It automatically does it, and it's going to place the lettering in the order in which you clicked the door families themselves. Okay, so because I had to start over up here at the top, this was 200. I clicked the second door and it became 200A and B. I'll come over here to room 210 and I'll do it in the order that I want this time. I click this door, I get 210. Click that door, I get 210B. This became 210A. Right? So, and as I just showed you, you don't even have to follow a logical order at this point. You just start clicking the door for the room. And as long as that door opens into that space, it's going to label it accordingly. Okay. Oh, and here's a third door. So now I have a 210C and B, and I don't know what I did there. Oh, I screwed up something. I clicked on something somewhere. I don't know what I did, but I'll just keep going. So, and then here's another three-part room again. Clean up these tags to highlight it a little better. There we go. And then this one up here. Come on. There we go. All right. And renumber 1, 2, 3. Now I got 219A, B, and C. So it's literally just a bunch of clicking. So to me, working with architects in Revit for years, this tool pays for the suite and you don't even have to buy it. So if you've got it, take advantage of it. Now I'm going to switch over to this other, I'm going to close this out and I'm going to switch over now to my other file real quick. That's a little bit more developed. And I've got this sheet of details. Okay. It's not a full sheet of details, but it's got a few details and they are not in order. You know, you could start from the bottom right and work your way across and up, or, you know, top left corner, left and down, or down and left, or I'm sorry, right and down, or down and right. In this case, the way I've laid out my details, I want my first detail 1 to be this guy, and I'll work my way up and then to the left. But I'm starting at number 5. So I'm going to go ahead and click renumbering, initialize my tool, and specify how I want these labeled, right? So with my detailed numbers, I'm going to start with a 1. And sure enough, when I go through this process, it's going to go ahead and label them accordingly. And we have auto swap built in here as well. So when I hit renumber and select the first view, automatically gives it a number 1. Wherever number 1 was before should now be number 5. Right, here it is. So I'm going to do this. Here's detail 2. And this is what needs to be detail 2. So when I click it, you can see the 2 swapped with each other. Instantaneous updates. So now this can be 3 and 4. And then if this one just happened to be 5 and 6, and so, you know, so it's whatever you click on is the order it's going to come in, right? And because I, again, just started clicking, out of order, I am now out of order. So, and that's what'll happen if you skip anything. Whatever you click on, that becomes it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's just clicks, thankfully. 5, 6, 7, 8. And the last one when you're renumbering your details should always be the last one on the sheet, unless you deleted a bunch of stuff during your, you know, dropping and rearranging and replacing and maneuvering. So, but it doesn't have to be numbers in this case either. You can use letters. or an alphanumeric scheme. I've seen elevation sheets, interior elevations that are labeled with the letter A, B, C instead of a 1, 2, 3, or A 1, 2, 3, 4, B 1, 2, 3, 4, and C 1, and so on and so forth. You know, you have the flexibility to build that in if you choose to, which to me, I love it. I think it's fantastic. Now, the final tab here is probably the most flexible tab that we have. And this is the general tab. And now this is where you can renumber anything in Revit that has a mark parameter in it, which is just about everything. Certainly anything that is part of the model, right? But what if you don't want to use mark? What if mark's being used for something else already? Or you want to get a consistent set of scheduling put together, and you've got very specific parameters and properties that you're using for numbering. You can change the parameter to something else, and we can use it. So anything that allows text input can be used in the parameter field here. So it could be anything at that point. So, and then you can choose to use text or numbers or a combination of the two within your sequence values and your separators and prefix, suffix, and label whatever you want. So say if I'll just go to a floor plan here quick. Say I wanted to label walls because we're doing a prefab panel for the wall installation, right? Let's just pretend. If I want, I can just use the generic mark parameter, call it WP1 for wall panel 1, and hit auto swap. Or maybe let's do this. Since WP is going to be consistent, I'm going to put that in my prefix. I'm going to start with a 1 and auto swap it in case I run across anything, and then I'll hit renumber. So then I can grab that wall, and that one, and that one. I don't have them tagged, but I'm going to quick pop into the properties of this real quick and show you. It's now WP1, WP2, 3, and 4. So this will work with any, parameter that is text. It doesn't have to be the one that Revit gives you, or any of the kind of default built-in parameters that Revit gives you. It can be pretty much anything that shows up as a text-based property within your project parameters. So if you had, you've got your mark value for the door and room numbers. Well, maybe you had another one that the customer wanted specifically, and they had a different scheme that they wanted to use for facilities management, and you were helping them build their FM model. But for documentation purposes and construction, we still are trying to use our traditional numbering scheme. Well, now I got to manage two, right? So we can throw in our custom property called, whatever you want it to be called, spell it out for them, door number as text, apply it to doors, right? Okay. My doors now have this extra property called door number, and right here. Now, when I come to my renumbering tool, switch to general and hit my refresh button potentially, I should be able to find door number in my list. There it is. And now I can specify a different numbering scheme to label these doors. And then had I made it a shared parameter like all smart people do, I'd then be able to insert a new tag for those doors and have them reflect properly throughout the project. And I can have 2 different sets of drawings, one for me and for the construction, and then one for the customer for the facilities management. So the utmost flexibility built in with the general tab. And I skipped over it, not on purpose, but for grids, we're looking for, specific, unique, consistent values here. So if I wanted to flip these around, say I'll start with A, right? Auto swap, hit renumber, and I'll go A, B, C, D, E, F, and you get the idea, right? So when you're doing it this way, it's great for the primary grids, but any secondary grid, we start to lose out on some of that functionality, and it doesn't flow as well with intermediate grids. But if you're doing a 4-foot grid system where you got a grid every 4 feet for a warehouse, this is great, right? Let it rip. Now, chances are it's already laid out, but in the event they get messed up for whatever reason, this tool is great at helping you get it squared away. All right, well, that takes care of the demonstration for today. I want to thank you all for joining me. We appreciate you coming and listening to us talk and show you a little bit about our tools. Look forward to seeing you guys next week when I do my next one on Tuesday. Thank you all.